Hey yo, Tarples. Your mama's so bomb bad, she is the bigger fish. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Guys, we finally got some news on the new raid. Finally, and we got other news as well. It's exciting and it's fun. Let's talk about it after I say thanks to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I truly appreciate you. And if you want to support this channel for free, folks, all you gotta do is hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment, mount the algorithm. Just like Tarple's mom, if you know what I mean. Let's get to it, folks. So the purpose of this video, I try to do it every month, though lately it's just been every couple months because CG has not released new stuff for us to understand. It's been a long time since we've had news of any sort, and we finally got a little bit today. So the idea, though, for this video is to update us on the current farming priorities of this shift month to month. It's kind of meta chasing. We're trying to reprioritize and shift what we're trying to work on. I realize that everyone is going to be in a different place in their accounts, and I'm not trying to say drop everything and just work on these. I'm trying to give you information so you can make an educated decision on what you should be farming next. That was the wrong thing to push. Okay, there we go. So, what's our main goal? In a resource management game, we want more resources. We want as much stuff as possible. That's always what we want. And we also want to stay relevant, because if we have a ton of stuff, but it's all older stuff that's not we can't use it in any of the new events and stuff, that's kind of, I mean, there's no point. You're gonna struggle a lot, and you want to be efficient. Though we don't want to worship efficiency. We want to be effective more than efficient in this game. Now, there are a lot of different game modes. The most important game modes right now, though, are Fleet Arena and the current raid. Those are the two most important. Everything else, yes, they're all in varying degrees of fun and important, etc. But those are the two you really need to prioritize: Fleet Arena and the current raid. And today, really, we're going to focus on the raid. I'm going to keep some of these slides in here, though, just so that we can make sure we're not missing them. Now, nothing has changed at all about this slide, about any of this information. We don't have news on fleets. No news on fleets since the last time I published this video, which was in April of 2024. Now, there's been a few things that have shifted since then, but not in fleets. So you guys can watch that video if you so desire, or you could just read this and move right along. So the current raid, folks, we're still in the Endor raid, but we're getting to the close of it. We're at the end of the Endor raid. So that'll be great. The Nabu Raid is going to begin next month, probably. We're releasing this in late June. Probably the Nabu Raid is going to start, my guess is in August. Probably not July. August, but either way, it's imminent, right? We have 1 to 2 months at maximum, so you don't want to be farming any of those Endor Raid characters specifically because of the raid, because your return on investment is horrible. Imagine getting Chirpa up to Relic 8 and then only getting to use him a couple times, and then, hey, look at that, you're off to farm frog people and whatnot on Naboo. So yeah, stop farming your Endor stuff. I said that last time, guys. I said that in April. It's especially true in late-ish June. Now, what is safe to farm, because CG finally announced what characters are being released, and here's the list that I copy-pasted, and you guys can look at that. It's soulless. What I ended up doing, though, is, hey, look at that. It's a visual representation of them, though, of course, initially I made all the little thumbnail things, the avatars, too small. So, before we get into it, though, folks, before we get into a little bit more analysis on this, one thing I want to point out. So yeah, we have all these different raid characters. These are the ones we can use. Exciting, right? Yay. So let's pause. That move to the fact that there's also a new Relic tier that we can be working on. If we have all Relic 9 characters in a squad, we could conceivably participate in the top tier. And I mean, I think that's going to be good. The way it reads, and I don't know if Meatface has clarified this or not. I don't know if we have more news, but it reads like maybe the top crate is just going to be the same thing. You just need Relic 9 to get it now. Or maybe it's just an extra crate after that. Like, instead of, like, so we get the same rewards on one crate, and then the one after that is the one that, they'll give us more rewards. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I would think that they would add an additional box at the end instead of moving the goalposts and requiring a ton more investment just to get that bigger crate. But we'll have to see. Anyways, the Relic 9 tier seems a little bit crazy, and a lot of people are going to say, what you'll hear a lot of content creators say, because they want to be reassuring and they want to make sure that all the new players love them, is you don't have to worry about Relic 9. That's only for the whale guilds. And that's probably a little bit true, at least. If you're comfortable with your current amount of resources that you're getting, then cool. I'm not trying to pressure anyone into anything. However, I do think that Relic 9 should not be totally ruled out. I think that it may end up being, and we'll have to see, we don't know any of the numbers, the final numbers, the rewards, all the stuff. We have no idea. But it may end up being, even if you're not in a guild that's getting those big rewards, even if you're not in a guild that's getting the top results, it may just end up being more efficient to be like, hey, look, I would rather work on 3 or 4 elite teams than work on 5 total, like, really robust and strong teams that aren't quite as elite. It may end up being that way, because there's a lot of characters that it look like, or you kind of want at Relic 9 anyways, we just don't know. But I would say don't rule Relic 9 out entirely, because that may end up being a really important strategy for your entire guild, or at least just for you. Not to mention, they may change the personal contribution tiers to give you more rewards this time. They're kind of pathetic right now, but they could give you a lot more just for how much you end up being able to do. So, well, we'll just have to see. Okay, so let's divide it into really, really generic terms here, guys. What's safe to farm and work on relics right now? So right now, there are 5 Jedi, Galactic Republic Jedi, that are just hot garbage and are characters you don't want to be working on right now. And everything else are characters that you want in general. A lot of them are requirement characters, folks. A lot of them are requirement characters. For the most part, they are requirement characters. In this game, at this point, the only characters that aren't requirement characters are the Afra ones. The ones that are required for Afra don't overlap into any other part of the game at all, at any point. It's very silly, including Afra, including her requirements. Otherwise, there's probably a few others that don't get into that. Probably Ugnaught for one thing, though I wouldn't want it to be a requirement here, anyways. That all of that being said, folks, let's get a little more specific though, because yes, they're all safe to work on, but a lot of you have them. Like I say, they're all requirement characters. Most of you have them at some relic level or whatever. So what's safe? Because we don't know. People are going to be theorizing. I've seen a ton of people do a ton of work already of like, ooh, and we could do this and this, and you don't know what it's going to look like. You just don't. I'm sorry. I don't pay any attention to everyone's theorizing. I get it. You want to have fun and theorize. That's fun. I'm not criticizing, but don't take that as gospel truth, guys, because looking at the information that CG's provided us, it's not definitive. We just don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know how it's going to be. So, what's safe to farm, folks? Relic 9 candidates include the Padme team or the Queen Amidala team, and I'll explain a little bit more why in a little bit. But especially Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, the Gungans are looking like they want to be Relic 9. Like it's looking like a team that could maybe be Relic 9. Like, I don't think you're going to regret them at 9. I could be wrong, but man, right now, they are so ridiculous with their current crons, and I have a hard time thinking that they're going to be significantly worse when they don't have specific crons for them. We'll have to see, but otherwise, Relic 8 candidates, mostly, I mean, I'm not going to go through all of this with you guys, honestly. The Grandmaster Yoda, he's required at Relic 8 anyways. Ki-Adi-Mundi, I've always put him on the Relic 8 list anyways because he does a ton of damage. Plo Koon, because of his piloting abilities, he is really good there, and then he works well with Starkiller. Kelleran Beck is, he hits really hard, he does really well in a ton of different game modes. And he's required at 7 anyways for Bo-Katan Mandalore, so 8 isn't that much of a stretch. Relic 7, I think these are all characters that are required at 7 anyways. Relic 5, for the most part, a lot of these characters are required at Relic 5 anyways, and maybe some of them are required at 7 for some GLs and stuff, I don't remember exactly, but one thing I will say, Relic 5 candidates, for the most part, those are just the wait and see. Maybe they'll make good teams, maybe they won't, we're not sure. And then the Triangle of Shame, yeah, these characters may end up being very important. I'm not saying that they're going to be awful in the raid, we don't really know. It looks like there's a couple boosts that they gave to like Luminara, for instance. It seems like maybe they could be good. I kind of think they won't be good, but we'll just have to see. Those characters have old school stat lines, and they're not. They're just, you know, old. Go look at Eth Koth's leadership, man. If you want a refreshing, people are like, man, look at these kits these days. They're like a novel. Go read Eth Koth's leadership. It is so refreshing, and also you'll realize one reason why the kits are a little bit longer to read these days. Okay, so beyond the Nabu Raid, guys, and who knows what the teams are going to be? I don't know. Oh, I should point out here, folks, before we get into the next thing. For Relic 9 candidates, R2-D2 goes really well on the Leia team, obviously. That to me, that seems obvious anyway. So, at Relic 9, tons of guilds already have him at Relic 9 because he does some crazy stuff. He's very resilient at 9, and he's handing out stats. Really good character to have at 9 anyways. I don't have him there, but he's vaguely on the list. And then also Mace Windu. I realize that there are some people who have told us all that Mace is a terrible character, and I just think that is complete crap, and they're wrong, and he is amazing, and we want him on so many teams, guys. He is a character that I use every single GAC and every single territory war. He is just a transcendent, amazing, flexible character, and Relic 9 is not beneath him. Or he's not beneath Relic 9, whatever. So there's a new assault battle, guys, and there's a little bit of ambiguity here. I don't know if Meatface has clarified this in the events server. That's probably part of the issue that I have with him talking in one server is unless someone sends me a screenshot of what he says, I just never end up seeing what he says. But this new assault battle looks good, and if it's like all the other assault battles, it'll probably be recurring every month, presumably. That's how most assault battles are. Like, we see them pretty much every month. I mean, maybe they rotate through and we don't quite see them quite every month. Maybe it's on like a 40-day schedule or so. I don't know. But I will say, the stuff we're getting for it is amazing. It's a different setup than the other assault battles, which is fine, but we're getting shards for Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. That's wonderful for the new ones. And then eventually those turn into fully upgraded mods. Like, you will be able to fully upgrade, like go from 5A to 6E immediately. Then we'll start getting some really good relic materials. And eventually, if you do get them to Relic 9, it's looking like they're going to give us a lot of materials like droid brains and Gearda keypads every time, which eventually that's going to pay for itself. If you spring for Relic 9 after about 8 months, then that investment is already paid for, and then it starts benefiting you for the rest of forever. And it's just a sim. Like, you don't have to, at least I think, if it follows the format of other Soul Battles, you'll just be able to sim it. And I really think that Qui-Gon, Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan are going to end up being characters that are somewhat requirements at Relic 9, similar to how Jedi Master Luke is kind of a requirement at level 9. So, it looks like it's good. However, it says duration 7 days. Are we going to be able to replay it every day? Are we going to... I don't know what the format's going to be, guys. At 7 days for an assault battle seems like a long time. And so I don't know if this is going to be just like kind of a special event that occurs every once in a while. Maybe it'll just be you would think that this would be a pretty consistent thing, but if it's just a one-off thing, I don't know why they would call it an assault battle. It's just a weird, like, why is it 7 days? I would like to know that. Hopefully we get that answer pretty soon. Okay, so we're toward the end of this video, folks, and I did update the Mandalore unlock stuff. We finally, since April, did get more information on how to unlock Mandalore, all of that stuff. And this is just a slide that I want to continue to build on for the theme of this video series. Anyways, so yeah, it looks like Mandalore. I mean, I would like it if they added a special mission to it, but that's for a later date. And then finally, we have other farms here, folks, and that's just a discussion on what, here's some videos that are found in the video description that I've done that are also about farming, about trying to make your roster as good as possible, and I've updated a couple of them. I also added the Beat the Bottlenecks link, and yeah, it's a good time, guys. Go check these out. And otherwise, I'm going to let you go. Let me know what your thoughts are, folks. Are these characters... Are you excited to work on Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan? I kind of am. I think that they're almost going to be like new player characters. Like, you should be working on them as a new starting player. I don't know for sure, but that seems like the trajectory we're on because they're so relevant on so many different levels. I want to hear what your thoughts are, though, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.